Oklahoma, Ole Miss, number 18, Ole Miss. People forget they're still ranked. They are. Ole Miss is a 20.5 point favorite. The over-under I have for this one is 4.3 Oklahoma yards per play. That's actually not a shot at Marcus Satterfield, who was asked what his goal is for yards per play as the Nebraska offensive coordinator. And he's like, I don't even know, like somewhere between 4 and 6. And then Buddy didn't even realize that the second worst team in FBS is just a hair above 4 yards per play. I'm sure somebody's going to give Marcus Satterfield some more money to do this job. I don't know why. Somebody will, because maybe we need to put Marcus Satterfield in the Ryan Bamford category of dudes that talk other dudes into doing crazy things. Yep. But that's, I guess, a different subject for a different time.
He's just like me trying to add up field goals. He's like, hold on, I feel like a good play is about 5 yards, right? Question mark.
How can you be an offensive coordinator in the year of our Lord 2024 and not know yards per play and what's good and what's not? What are we doing?
Brian Ferris is like, come on, bro. Even I know that. I'm not getting there, but I know my goal.
Seriously, he knows what's bad. He knows what's historically awful and what people use to make fun of him. Golly, that was such a bad look. Oh, fire him on the spot. Don't even let him get off the podium with that crap. I hated that. I think I retweeted 2 different things from that. All right. I brought up 4.3 Oklahoma yards per play because that's what they're averaging this year. Well, that is basura. Basura. That is also why Seth Littrell lasted half a season as Oklahoma's offensive coordinator, and then he got the boot on Sunday. First SEC coordinator firing. Welcome to the SEC,
Oklahoma. Welcome to the SEC. You guys thought we were crazy, and here you are fired your OC, and we're like 5-6 games into the conference slate.
It is the second time that Oklahoma has fired an offensive coordinator who played on that 2000 national championship team. So one has to think now, naturally, Seth Littrell is going to come back to Norman 10 years from now and beat Oklahoma with College Game Day in the house. That's how this works. History has suggested. I do think Seth Littrell is a good coach. Mm-hmm. I talked about in the offseason, that guy ran a North Texas program that's not even a top 10 job in the state of Texas, and I didn't think he deserved to be fired. Yeah. So I hope that guy lands on his feet because I do think that he is better than what this season would suggest. I don't think it was a good situation for anyone. Obviously, he didn't handle it well enough to be able to survive this year. It's pretty wild, though, that through 4 SEC games, Brent Venables has made 2 in-game quarterback changes, and he fired his OC that quickly. Life comes at you.
Does that count as meddling?
If
it's broken, you can't do worse than that. So I don't think it's exactly meddling.
Yeah, it's borderline. It's borderline.
It's shades of Coach O against Ole Miss, where later was like, you were just running cover 3 the whole time. What was that?
Yeah. Can we talk about this opening real quick? Because I think it's one of the top assistant openings in college football. Yeah. I really do. It's like, think about it from this perspective. You get full autonomy working with Brent Venables, who's a defensive-minded head coach. You get the history of Oklahoma quarterbacks, obviously, top 10 recruiting classes, a coach that's going to spend in the portal. And perhaps the most important thing, you've got this recent history of unbelievable Oklahoma offenses and Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks, number 1 overall picks, all those things. That bar has been lowered so low that nobody, and I mean nobody, is going to expect you to come in and start cranking out Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray offenses. Nobody. Like, it's crazy.
Who might be available?
Name a name, Will.
Lincoln Riley. Call him up. Be like, hey, look, you got to make friends. That's your number 1 goal. So you got to come back here because where are you going to go now?
I was going to do a minute video of this and name like my list of candidates because, by the way, I've got a full list of candidates on SaturdayDownSouth.com that people can go check out if they want to see all my thoughts on that. But I was going to do like a minute-long video and then end it with, there's this guy in Southern California. Things haven't gone particularly well this year. He's got kind of an aging quarterback. I think they should give Sean McVay a call. Just see what he's up to.
That's incredible.
Didn't do it, though. Didn't do it. Probably should have. But yeah, the guy that I'd be calling if I were Oklahoma is Kirby Moore. I think Kirby Moore, the Mizzou offensive coordinator, would be a great fit for this job. Don't know if that's going to be in the cards for him. Don't know what his aspirations are. It's kind of an early 30s something guy. I think even Mizzou fans have accepted there's a very likely scenario that this is his last year at Mizzou with the great things that he has in store. And even though it's been a little bit more disappointing, I still think he would be coveted in a job like that. So we'll kind of wait and see. In the meantime, this Oklahoma offense will turn to Joe John Finley. Yeah, that's right. It's a great name. It's a great name. You see it every once in a while that was thrown out there because he had playing career, obviously, and spent some time in the NFL. But Joe John Finley is just a fun name to say over and over again. Maybe that's why Brent Venables made the move. He's like, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
Joe John, vibes, just whatever we could do to improve this situation. Let's bring in Joe John, see if he can do this. They're going to be turning to him as the OC. They're turning back to Jackson Arnold as the quarterback. So maybe a change of scenery is going to clean things up. But here's what this feels like. You know when you're on a plane and you experience turbulence, right? Like you get that feeling, you're kind of on edge a little bit. It's, I don't know, like 5-10 minutes. And you get those first few seconds where things kind of calm down and it feels like, all right, we're okay. Then the captain gets on the speaker and he says, there's actually a lot more turbulence on the way. Buckle in. Don't get out of your seats. That's how I would compare this Oklahoma offense transitioning from the South Carolina defensive line to the Ole Miss defensive line. A lot of turbulence could be on the way. It will not be a smooth ride on Saturday. Not sure that they forced 3 turnovers in the first 5 minutes like South Carolina did, but also slightly terrified for this Oklahoma offensive line that they're going to have to protect Ole Miss coming off of a bye, where they'll be getting even healthier. We're doing this before injury reports, TBD on Princely Uman-Mielen, which guys are going to be available, but I think they got enough dudes to get after the passer. I think the only hope for Oklahoma is that the version of Ole Miss that we saw against Kentucky shows up. Or Trey Harris's ankle is maybe not quite at 100%, and Jackson Dart doesn't have his go-to target at full strength.
You hope Trey Harris wakes up with a tummy ache if you're an Oklahoma fan, you know?
Yeah, like he's in-game illness. I don't know, but I can't pick an Oklahoma team that's averaging 13.5 points in SEC play. And if you actually want to get into the real number and take off the 8 points that they got via the pick 6 and 2-point conversion against Auburn, it's 11.5 points per SEC game that Oklahoma is averaging. Not good. Hard to see that improving against an Ole Miss defense that's top 3 in the country, both in yards per play allowed and scoring, and just behind South Carolina with 24 sacks on the year. So I'm going Ole Miss 28, Oklahoma 6.
I think it is objectively so funny that the other day I said Jermaine Gresham ain't walking through that door, and in fact, their new offensive lineman is his backup, Joe Johnson.
How about that?
I'm like, I remember this guy. This isn't talking about some dude's name. Guy. Yeah. This is the guy with the flow.
Like Jim Bob Cooter, Joe John Finley, like these triple names that are just fun to say.
I think my advice for the Oklahoma is they should probably stop hiring all offensive or all coaches that went to Oklahoma. I think you can get some guys from
Brent Venables schools. Didn't, though. We made that mistake in the offseason. Yeah. Brent Venables, not an Oklahoma grad.
No, you're right.
That's on us. So they've gone away from the Oklahoma family, if you want to call it that. Shout out Brian Kelly.
Come on, bro. That was unnecessary. Anyway, yeah, I'm with you. I think that Lane, again, I hate to do the is Lane serious check every week, but this is a pretty good checkout because this is an Oklahoma team that will beat themselves. Lane Kiffin has been shown to be a pretty opportunistic coach. I think that, if you kind of shoot yourself in the foot against Lane Kiffin, like we kind of saw South Carolina do early, Oklahoma's apt to do that, even against South Carolina. So that's kind of my whole analysis here is that Lane Kiffin is, say what you will, historically pretty good at capitalizing on mistakes, and boy, will Oklahoma make some mistakes. And again, I'm 100% with you. I don't really their OC situation is just unwinnable because we've talked about it ad nauseum. The amount of skill position guys that are just in and out of the lineup, the quarterback situation, you just really can't properly manage it. But you also in the SEC just have to fire your offensive coordinator when you're at the position they're in, just to have some hopium, just so that people start calling for the head coach to say, look, we're doing something here. At least we've put in our boy Joe John Finley. So point being, I think this should be kind of a blowout for Ole Miss. And if it's not, then we start asking fun questions.
Oklahoma fans are down so bad right now that I think the best pickup they could get is if a receiver who has plenty of eligibility left, who is currently not playing, announces he's coming back for another year. That would be the ultimate morale boost for Oklahoma at this stage of the game with how desolate that position has been with their injuries. If they got an announcement from Nick Anderson running it back next year, you're like, buddy, it's late October. You're a redshirt sophomore. What are we doing here? Why do we need? But at the same time, we'll take it. Oh God, we just need something to feel good about the future of Oklahoma offense because they're not used to feeling like this. They are not used to feeling like they are lacking those answers, and it's tough when you're like, all right, do we have a quarterback? Do we have a guy that we can build around? Are we going to have to go to the portal? Are we going to have these receivers back? What are we going to do on the offensive line? Who's our coordinator? all of these questions are being asked, and I don't think they're going to be answered in this final month of the season with the schedule that awaits Oklahoma. There are going to be some turbulent times ahead for that group. Oklahoma defense, yes, led the all dudes who deserve better team. Yeah.
Well, you know what, though? I think you're underestimating how much Oklahoma fans like to slander the University of Texas. So I think they're actually having one of the better weeks of the season because
Good point.
the rest. Because look, the thing that Oklahoma fans have told us,
and Lincoln Riley as well. Lincoln Riley, 4
like,
losses
exactly.
now.
It's like, look, we're slandering Lincoln Riley. He's doing terrible. And what Oklahoma fans will always tell you is, doesn't matter how down we are, doesn't matter what Texas is, they'll find a way. And right now they're looking pretty right here where it's like, hey, look, we know we're bad. That's like where I'm at, where I've been with LSU, where it's like, oh, LSU's not any good this year. So I'm going to just be a hater this year. And it's like, hey, once you've accepted that your team is trash, it's the most liberating thing in the world. Like you could just go root against your rivals and not care. It's like, yeah, Texas beat us. I don't care. Their goals are a national championship. They have quit yours. We don't even have a quarterback.
3 boxes that Oklahoma fans want to check the rest of the season. Receiver announcements. I'm running it back. USC going 5-7. And Texas somehow missing the college football playoff. Those are the 3 boxes that Oklahoma fans are like, God, just give me that.
Everything else is on the Vanderbilt, they're like, you know what? We'll pack this one in. We can lose the rest of them. We've had enough. We're good. We've had a good season. At least they're not winning.